Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Trainwell podcast, inspiring you to move more, get stronger, and have fun. I'm so excited to be here with you all today. I'm especially excited to be here with Joey today because Joey has a new addition to his family. Joey, tell us how it's going.
Well, thank you for that, dude. Little Nico, Nicholas, it's my middle name. He was named after my middle name. We call him Nico. My wife's Greek. He is such a blessing, man. I'll tell you what. Another boy number two. He weighed 7 pounds 3 ounces, born August 12th, the same as Darian's son, Leaf, I believe, right?
Yep.
So we have twin birthdays, boys, I guess. But yeah, he's doing great. He's a great baby. Mama's doing great. Breastfeeding is going well. By the way, ladies, if you're proficient at breastfeeding, props. Like, not only do you have to go through pregnancy, bear this child for like 10 months, right? It's not even 9 months, like 10 months. Then you have to deliver baby, either cesarean or naturally, or whatever. Then you got to deal with all the complications of that. Then you got to recover. Then you got to feed your baby. Like, motherhood is freaking real. And mad respect to all the mothers out there. In the words of Tupac, you are appreciated. So, yeah, little Nico's good.
That's amazing. Yes, thank you for the props to motherhood. It is quite a challenge. I was just telling someone the other day on Leaf's birthday, my little guy's August 12th birthday, I was reflecting on his birth and I was thinking about how unfair it is that you go through the hardest thing of your life, giving birth to a baby, and then you never get to sleep again. You know? It's just like, now you'll be up for hours feeding this baby around the clock. And it's such a huge commitment, and it's also so incredibly meaningful.
Yeah, I think the beauty of realizing how important parenting is, right? I mean, it became my North Star, right? That's why I do what I do. Darren, we were talking before this, how it really forces you to be efficient with your time, and it forces you to kind of have this better systematic approach to how you do your day, which is good. And so I'm very appreciative of my parents, especially, and for all the parents out there. So parents, we thank you so much.
Yes, absolutely. So today on the episode, we're going to do some more myth busting because, one, who doesn't love to learn? And two, you all love myth busting. These are some of our most listened to episodes, so we want to continue to share them with you. So here's a top myth. And this one is a great one to bust because as a trainer, I hear this all the time. I'm constantly busting this myth, which is that someone will come to me, and Joey, I'll lay out an example for you. This just happened with one of my clients. She said, I've been working out, I do everything right, I eat clean, but I just can't get rid of these bat wings. Like, she's referring to her underarms. And I do tricep extensions, and I do kickbacks, and I do push-ups, and I do, XYZ, name the tricep exercise. She's like, and they still won't go away. And I have clients who ask me all the time, I really want to slim down in my midsection. Can you program me more core? And then I have to bust that myth. So talk to us, Joey, about spot reduction.
It is a myth. Well, first of all, the bat wings, that's funny. I had a older client. She used to refer to those as bingo wings, anyone over like 70 bingo wings. But yes, I always have, her name's Sally. Sally, you can't spot reduce that. There's so much at work here. There is hormones at play. There is genetics at play. There is nutrition at play. There is stress management at play, right? So much of that goes, by the wayside because people think if they feel the burn there, the lactic acid build up there, or lactate build up, they're like, oh, that's gonna spot reduce. And no, it's not. Your body is, to borrow a quote here, your body is not Google Maps. You can't just drop a pin and say burn fat here. And I always tell people you can't outrun a donut. Nutrition matters totally, and that's why the bodybuilders say that abs are made in the kitchen. But let me tell you some research here, okay? Because the Journal of Strength and Conditioning, right? I have a CSCS. They found no significant reduction in abdominal fat among participants who did 300 plus ab exercises over 6 weeks. Okay. Zero, like zero fat reduction. So it doesn't work. So if you're out there thinking you can burn your way or, make that muscle fatigue its way to getting toned and, more shaped, right? That's not going to happen. You have to pull back that fat first, which kind of leads us into our next point here is that let's talk a little bit about this nutrition eating thing. Okay. So Darren, if it's okay with you, I'm going to go to another example that we always get, right? I get clients who tell me like, Joey, like, I don't know. I just don't know how to do it. Like I have to eat clean 110% of the time, over an extra 10%, right? Otherwise I'm just going to fail everything. Like there's no way I can live like this. Like, is that person right? Do we have to eat clean 100 and quote 10% of the time to see results?
That is a great myth. And here's the thing, not only do you not have to eat clean 100% of the time, you should not eat clean 100% of the time because it is not sustainable. When people go on diets, and I know a lot of people will say clean eating, that's a lifestyle change. But any form of restriction, of food restriction, is a diet. When you and going on a diet is actually the number one predictor of weight gain. And then that is because diets are not sustainable long term. So even while a diet may work for someone short term, so you would only ever really be able to eat clean 100% of the time in the short term. And while that may work for you, it is not sustainable long term. And therefore, you end up gaining that weight back. So you want to make sure that you're actually eating in a really balanced and flexible way. And that is and there was actually a study done in 2020 that actually showed that people who ate more flexibly actually had better results and were able to manage their weight long term. So I actually think about eating treats and things as actually part of a well-balanced diet because it's what keeps you satiated and it's what keeps you feeling happy and not deprived and not restricted. So here's some examples for you. When you are never allowing yourself to eat ice cream, I'm not going to eat that ice cream, and you're using all the willpower that you possibly have to not eat the ice cream. Because at first, maybe that feels easy. But then after time, your friends invite you out. It's summer. Let's grab ice cream. And you're saying, no, 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 no. Eventually, that will break down. And then you're eating. We all know, we have all been there. Now you're eating the whole pint. Okay? You're not able to just have a scoop because you have been depriving yourself. And that's where we get into that crazy back and forth yo-yo dieting type of behaviors. So when you allow yourself treats regularly and allow yourself foods you really enjoy, having spontaneity and being flexible, that's really how you stay more on plan with your clean eating like 80% of the time. And think about this. If you were to eat, let's say, I don't like the term junk food, but let's say you're eating fast food and sweets and cake 80% of the time, but then you have salad or some fruits and veggies 20% of the time. You would not expect that 20% of the time of eating healthy would mean that you're, going to lose a ton of weight and you're going to be super healthy now. So the reverse is also true. If you're eating quote unquote clean, nutrient dense foods, having all 3 macronutrients along with fiber, most of the time, 80% of the time, you don't have to worry that slice of cake on the weekend or the dark chocolate you eat after lunch is going to mean that you're unhealthy and you're failing and you're gaining tons of weight. So hopefully that sums it up for people. Balance is key. Allow yourself to have some treats. So here's another myth I hear all the time, Joey. Actually, a lot of my clients come in initially they tell me they want to work out every single day. They think they're supposed to be doing a workout every single day. Or even if I can pull them back from every single day, they are adamant that their gym session should be 60 minutes. And if it's not 60 minutes, they think, well, why bother doing anything? So bust this myth. Do you have to work out every day? Does it even matter how long your workout is?
Well, there's 2 avenues we can take here, right? First of all, I want to talk to my older population folks, like those 60, 70. Working out every day is actually more beneficial than working out, let's say, 3 times a week for longer. So if you did every day for like 20 minutes, that's more beneficial than doing, 3 days a week at 90 minutes or 4 days a week at 60 minutes, right? Those frequent touches are more beneficial. So that's one end of the spectrum, right? Then on the other side, like, no, you do absolutely do not have to work out like hours and hours a day to see results. Matter of fact, over 60, 75 minutes, depending on your activity, your cortisol immediately starts to flood in. And cortisol is your stress hormone. It's something bad, right? That's where your body starts going catabolic. And most of us who haven't trained up to that level just can't handle it, okay? So like after about 50, 60 minutes, that's when that starts to pool. And then by 75 minutes, it's really working against you, okay? So with those in mind, no, this is a myth, right? You don't have to work out for hours and hours. You definitely don't have to work out every day unless you do it, very, very smart, okay? Active recovery. It depends on what you call a workout. But for the most of us out there, right, thinking, okay, I need to be in the gym, sweating, bleeding, crying, because sweating is fat crying and the burning is fat dying, right? No, it's kind of myth, right? Short, intensive, intellectually planned workouts are your key. And I want everybody to memorize this term, okay? Darian, repeat after me. Minimal. Effective. Dose. That is what you're after. What is humans are just lazy by design, right? And I'm pretty lazy, even as a trainer, right? So I want to figure out what is the lowest amount of work I have to do to get the highest results, right? And that's why, all these studies come out, like the Journal of Physiology. Even just doing 15 minutes of true high-intensity interval training work, right, 3 times a week, you'll get improved insulin sensitivity. You'll get cardiovascular health benefits. You'll get much, much more, right, than 45 minutes of steady-state aerobic work, right? That's high intensity. Then we take that to the strength training side of things, and if you don't know how to build a workout, listen to the podcast Gary and I just did a couple weeks ago. You can make a 20, 30, 45-minute workout super effective if you do compound movements, if you structure your training around minimal rest intervals where you're doing non-competing exercises like an upper body and a lower body. So when you sit down and design your workouts, right, take that myth out and figure out what is the least amount of time I can plan for to be most efficient, okay? And I always like to tell people this minimal strength training routine. If you're trying to build muscle, okay, they have shown this through research countless that all you need is 2 to 4 sessions a week, anywhere from 30 to 40 minutes. And that gives you more than 10 to 20 sets per muscle group per week, which can induce hypertrophy. So if you're doing 2 hours in the gym and half of it's texting or talking, like, it's not a workout, it's a hangout. So you don't need to live in the gym. You just need to show up and move with purpose. Please do not fall prey to that myth. Anyways, moving on. Here we go. Last one of the day. You ready, D?
I'm ready, Joey.
This one's great because you're extremely flexible. You're mobile, right? And people have this. This is yoga. So yogis out there, right? Yogi Berra, right? If you're wherever you are, there I am, I think was what he said. Anyways, people come to me, Darian, and they're like, hey, yoga is not a real workout. It's just seen as this like stretching, feel good kind of voodoo hippie kind of thing to do. Is this true or is this false? Is yoga a quote unquote real workout? Yes or no?
It is, in fact, a real workout, for sure. However, I want to have some caveats to that. So first of all, when I was doing CrossFit, sometimes 2 days. It was out of control, people. Way too much. But the point is, I was really strong. I was working out all the time. And I decided I wanted to get into yoga so I could improve my mobility. There was a yoga place right across the street from me. I started going there. My goodness, I could not hold a down dog. I couldn't believe it. I was like, how are these non-CrossFit athletes doing this? I can't even do this. So there's definitely value in like varying up your routine across different modalities of fitness because you're going to work different muscles in different ways. Same exact thing happened when I started getting into mountain biking. There were 70-year-old men basically sprinting up this hill in the woods, And I was huffing and puffing. I couldn't even make it up. I'm like, how are these 70-year-old men doing this? And it's because they were so good at mountain biking. But the point I'm trying to make is this. It's all dependent on your goals. If you're hoping to go to a yoga class and have hypertrophy, then no, that's probably not likely to happen. But that's not all that fitness is. If you're hoping to go to yoga class and improve your core strength and your shoulder strength and your quad strength, and you're hoping to improve your mobility, which is also a really important component of a workout, and your balance. And another reason we work out is, and this is like truly proven, working out makes your brain stronger and smarter. Like your brain. And yoga is really about mental toughness. It's hard to hold a pose for a long time. You have to breathe. You have to calm your mind. So there is so much that you get out of a yoga routine. I would absolutely consider that a workout. But don't think that you're going to go to a yoga class and think that, you're going to make your biceps huge or like lose a ton of weight. But you are going to gain so much from going to that yoga class.
You heard it from the yogi herself, Mrs. Legendarian, who does say that yoga is in fact a workout. And that's why most of our trainers here, they include some sort of yoga in their flow, whether it's a warm up or a cool down. So do not be scared to get in that yoga studio. So you heard it up for us first. We're busting 4 myths today, okay? To recap, you cannot spot reduce fat. Number 2, you do not have to eat clean 100% of the time to see results. You do not have to work out for hours or every day to see results. And the last myth is yoga is indeed a real workout. You heard it straight from us, folks. Boom.
Thank you all so much for listening. We hope that you can take these busted myths, throw them in the trash. I don't even know if that makes sense. You know what I mean. Check the link in our bio. You can try out Trainwell for 14 days free. Get your very own personal trainer who can put together a well-balanced plan with you, and it could even include some stretching if you would like.
And folks, please share the show with your friends, your loved ones, your dogs, your cats, and please give us a ranking on Spotify, on Apple Music. Write us a review. That really helps us out. So we'll talk to you guys next time. Thanks so much for listening.
Bye.